I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and we're talking with Chris Lynn with Leafguard on a job site that you've just installed. How you doing, Chris?
Doing fantastic.
Good. Why don't we start off by having you tell everybody a little bit about Leafguard?
Well, Leafguard is the only one-piece debris shedding gutter on the market, in that not only is it a seamless gutter, but it is seamless bottom and top.
Okay, good deal. Now, how do Leafguard gutters differ from conventional gutters?
Well, they use the principle of liquid adhesion, or surface tension, that actually draws the water into the front of the gutter as opposed to filtering it through the top with screens.
Right, so with conventional gutters, you've got kind of an open trough here where the water runs into, and oftentimes that's where people run into trouble, especially in a beautiful backyard like this with lots and lots of shade trees. Those conventional gutters get filled up with debris, right?
Absolutely. I mean, screens have been around as long as the gutters have been. The only problem with them is you get the accumulation on top. So with this gutter, as you can see, it's not actually accumulating on top. A smooth hood's not going to grab all that. It actually pulls the water into the front instead of acting as a filter.
Gotcha. So with conventional gutters, with the open trough, they're going to fill up with leaves, but then homeowners sometimes will decide to get screens here. But then what happens to those screens?
Well, they displace. They'll fall into the gutter. You get things that just kind of sit on top. So you end up you may not be cleaning the insides out as much, but you are cleaning the tops of them off. This kind of keeps that from happening, keeps it nice and clean.
And this homeowner this is a retrofit here on this home, and so the homeowner had conventional gutters previously to having Leafguard gutters installed. And what kind of feedback did you get from the homeowner when you started talking to them about putting Leafguard gutters on their house?
He's tired of cleaning gutter. So he's got a lot of trees in here, and so he basically had wheelbarrows of leaves and debris that he would clean out of the gutters. He's used screens, but as you heard earlier, he was saying that these screens just fall into the gutter, they displace over time, and he's still not out of the maintenance issues. So he wants to try something that works a little better, something that is all one piece. And obviously, as you can see here in a minute, it's aesthetically pleasing. So,
now it doesn't seem possible, I guess, to have a solid piece over the gutter itself. Why doesn't the rain water just hit the top of the gutter and go right off the top of the gutter?
They finally started applying some physics to the gutter system. Okay, so now instead of just using gravity and a filter, they actually apply some physics. It's actually, once the water's on here, the water will adhere to it. And they're tested up to 18 inches an hour. Okay, so
18 inches of rainwater per hour?
Yes. Now in the valleys, it's going to be different in the valleys and so forth, and we're going to look at those.
What do you mean by the valleys?
Where you accumulate a number of square feet of roof that all comes to one spot, a concentration of water to one spot. And so you have to address those differently, but outside those areas, that'll catch it.
I see. Okay. And how long does it typically take to have Leafguard gutters installed in a house?
You can put these up faster than you can put on a gutter and a screen. It's all one piece, and not only that, but the structural integrity that you get with this being all one piece, one person can hang a 40-foot piece by themselves. So it's a lot easier to take this up. You don't have anything to go back and add. So it goes up as fast, if not faster, than just a regular gutter.
A lot of homeowners that have conventional gutters will experience problems with where one piece of the gutter runs into another, that seam, and then over time that seam starts to rust and wear away, and then they get leaks and so forth. Do you experience anything like that with Leafguard gutters?
Well, actually, Englert that came out with this patent, they were pioneers of seamless gutter back in the 60s, and most people don't know it, but seamless gutter's been around for that long. Okay, the difference in this particular patent that came out in '93 is the fact that it incorporates the hood into it, but of course seams obviously an issue, and that's where you run into some of the do-it-yourselfer gutter. Those are the spots where they finally give up. I mean, so yeah, you typically come in 10-foot pieces and sealed together in some way.
And Leafguard gutters are completely seamless, no matter how far a length of a gutter you're going to run?
Right. I mean, the longest ones I've ran here are 140 feet.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, I understand that there's some special features that went along with the installation on this particular house, and let's go over to one of these valleys that you mentioned before and take a look at that. Okay.
Great.
Okay, Chris, you mentioned you used that term valleys earlier, and what you were referring to was kind of the corner of a house where two sides of the two lengths of the gutter come together.
Right. And I'll start by saying nothing's perfect. These valleys do what it is it's you accumulate X amount of square foot of roof that all comes to one spot, and this is typical on a house as far as one of those types of valleys. The way this is designed, though, it's designed for lower maintenance. Normally, you would have these little plates that are up there about 3 or 4 inches high, about 8 inches wide, and everything wants to accumulate right behind them. Things are going to accumulate on the valley anyway, but when they get to the bottom and it's trapped, okay?
You're talking about the rainwater accumulates?
Leaves.
Okay.
Okay? You know, if you don't have that, it's not very much of an issue. But when you do have leaves and debris, that's a stopping point, and everything wants to clog up in those corners. So what we do is that the corner that actually goes in there is kind of triangle shaped. We cheat the corner a little bit by taking, instead of 90 degrees into the corner, we're actually doing 245s and using a lot more surface area to catch the water. You can see there's a series of holes, and these holes are actually bent back up towards the roof line so that the water is shooting directly in. So in the corner, the primary catch is not liquid adhesion, but instead gravity fed, okay, and a big grate that we catch that water in, and then the surface tension on the end is a secondary. This makes it accessible from the ground. Okay, so if you are getting some stuff up there, which you can accumulate some stuff here, it can all be accessed from the ground if it's not in fact washed off.
Gotcha. And typically, as you mentioned before, there's some sort of a metal plate up here, 2 metal plates here in the corner, and that's, as the rainwater's coming down, it hits those metal plates and is supposed to bounce back into the conventional gutter.
Yeah, and it's very typical for gutter. On the inside corners, I mean, everybody's probably seen these. They're about this high, about 8 inches wide. They fit on the outside edge of the gutter to keep the water from overshooting the gutter. Okay, is what they're designed to do. But when you have this, when you have the trees and debris, they also catch all that. So, and it's one of those things where you have to get on a ladder to get out there and dig those out. This is just a lot easier to maintain.
Now, Chris, I was noticing that, and this is a retrofit here on an older home, that the color of the Leafguard gutters seems to match exactly with the exterior trim that they have on this house.
Yeah, and in this case, I mean, it's right on the money. We've got 13 colors, so that's not always the case, but we do have a wide variety of colors. And the other thing about that that you can't really see is that this is a new finish that's only been out since 2005 and 2006 for stain resistance. So what you see now, you'll see 5, 6, 10 years from now, because these are a lot easier to clean up.
Do you ever have a case where I know with the Leafguard commercials, I hear that if they ever do get clogged, that you'll come out and go ahead and clean them out. Does that ever happen?
Oh, absolutely. Nothing's perfect. So, I mean, you know, you could drop a bracket over in there that could start an accumulation. So, sure, it's a no clog warranty, and like I say, nothing's perfect. We've had to clean some out, but by design, it's hard to get it to clog. You know, not that I'm not going to say anything's 100%, but it's hard to get this gutter to clog. It's hard to get anything in the front of it. So if you get a house that constantly has a lot of debris on the roof, you stand more of a chance of something like that happening with a roof full of debris. I can't think of one house in particular, but otherwise, it doesn't happen that often, and it's easy to fix.
Well, you're being modest by saying that you know, that Leafguard gutters are not 100%, but is there a better alternative out there than Leafguard as it relates to gutters?
No, there is not. I haven't seen, and I'm going to tell you what I think makes it the most is the one piece. You basically have two types: the screens and the solid covers. Okay, this is the only one that's actually one piece. So for me, the screens are obviously cheaper for a reason. Then you've got Leafguard and the other covers that work the same way, the same principle of liquid adhesion, okay? but they come in pieces. They have a separate attach point, and for the most part, what I've seen, more expensive. I haven't found anything that'll beat it.
You mentioned before that you had a customer who swore up and down that she had your product, Leafguard gutters, on her house, and in fact they were not Leafguard gutters, and that sometimes other gutter companies that sell the conventional gutters will kind of use that name Leafguard as a generic term to claim that they've got your product, when in fact they're just putting some screens or some other type of thing over the gutters.
It happens all the time. Leafguard is a popular product. It works. Everybody wants to be Leafguard, so they have a tendency to call their products Leafguards with an S. Okay, and that's why most of our advertising tries to stress the fact that it is the only one piece. It's not a cover in any way, whether it be solid or screen type. It's all part of that gutter system.
I think we've covered this pretty well. Is there anything else that you'd like to add today?
No, the website at leafguard.com is really good. Shows a lot of how the gutter works, some videos of how the water actually makes it into the gutter, the colors, design studio, and so forth, and a place to find your local dealers.
Okay, and let's hear that website once again, and also a local phone number here in the Charleston, South Carolina area.
Okay, it's leafguard.com, and we're at 843-832-3353.
Okay, we've been talking with Chris Lynn with Leafguard of the Low Country here on the job, and this is these gutters were just put up a couple hours ago, I understand. Well, thanks so much, Chris.
Great, thank you.